could we focus so that my viewers can take a look? Okay, Mark, go.
Yeah.
Okay, go.
Now, to keep a candidate, on with certain margins and all that. Now, this is a very tricky thing because it's a serious allegation, and should any expert come up and really qualify this with no doubt at all, or the so-called reasonable doubt, beyond any reasonable doubt, that would be a huge thing in this country, because first of all, I'm almost sure that many people, many election losers will be running to court, and probably they will be given access to the
Mark,
system.
you're going to get me in jail. Okay, how does this thing work?
Now, for example, let's take this case here.
Yeah.
My drawing is a bit sketchy.
Don't worry.
Now, one thing that you need to understand is that these people are not going into calculating the exact mathematics that was brought there, because that will land me into trouble. But one thing that you need to know is that we have what is known as independent variable, and then we have dependent variable.
Okay.
Now, what this means that it tries to balance the figures that are available. In terms of, for example, I can say that you're going to live for 100 years.
Amen.
And someone else must live only for this amount of years if you have to live for 100 years. So in that case, we must ensure that there is a balance in terms of percentage that must be there, that separates the number of years that you're going to live with the number of years that the dependent, because this is depending on certain numbers that must be gotten.
This depends on this.
Yeah. Now, what happens is that when you do it that way, it will keep constantly the constant variable that will be running here, which separates the two of you, must run constantly at any given stage. Now, in this formula that was presented and everything, there are what we refer to as intervals. Now, these intervals can be in terms of the polling stations, they can be in terms of the number of years or a year or after 5 years or wherever. So these intervals must be kept by this percentage that must run consistently from one point to the last point, or from first polling station of tally to the last polling station of tally. So the percentage
keeps them in check.
Now the percentage keeps them in check. Okay. Now, do you know how this comes into a computer system? In a computer system, you can also integrate some other systems. For example, you can develop high-dimensional analytics system. When you develop this high-dimensional analytics system, you give it a command on algorithm that can be probably round-robin algorithm. That is just a type of algorithm, yeah? Such that if this person, if an execution is done to an independent variable with regards to a certain amount of numbers or percentage, then this must also maintain, the dependent variable must also maintain specific numbers that will keep that trend. Now, on a computer, that work will be done by the computer itself or by the system itself. Okay. It doesn't require a human being to do that. All you need to do is to probably prepare an independent kind of a server, or just find a way of routing all that from one server to the main server and for the projections and all that. So once that is done, then it runs consistently and systematically. Now, proving that this happened will take some time and will take some serious minds to do that. Yeah, okay. Yeah. But it's something that is workable and it's something that is possible. Now, disclaimer, I'm not saying that that is what happened. Yeah, and that should be very clear. I don't understand how what goes on.
Yeah, you're trying to be very safe here.
Yes. But that is something that